Coming up on Good Morning Longhorns.
A look into what the Good Morning Longhorns staff and reporters did for Halloween weekend.
And a look into Masa Amini protest at the Capitol and Speedway.
All this and more coming up on Good Morning Longhorns.
Good morning, Longhorns, for Wednesday, November 2nd. I'm Kevin Baskar.
And I'm Ella Deanna. Thanks for joining us this Wednesday morning.
Ella, how are you doing on this early morning?
I'm doing pretty well. The weather's nice. I think that's getting me through this week. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right as well. I mean, November is starting to fall, come into play. I feel like it's actually fall for once instead of like, the summer that, Texas seems to offer. But
yeah,
I'm also a little tired on this morning. But, let's get straight into this week's topics and all. And first thing we're going to ask you, do you know what affirmative action is? Have you been up to the news on that?
I do. Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Well, for those of you at home who are watching the show right now, affirmative action is currently one of the hottest topics in the nation. And by definition, affirmative action is the practice or policy of basically favoring individuals that belong to groups regarding disadvantaged or subject to discrimination. And not realistically, a lot of people see this as a very highly controversial topic because some people feel like this is kind of like reverse discrimination. For instance, a lot of Asian Americans feel that if they get a 1370 SAT score and maybe a white person also gets the same SAT score with some of the similar extracurricular background, all of a sudden the other person gets into college and they're like, oh no, that's unfair.
Yeah.
In fact, actually there was a similar case that UT Austin had filed against them. Abigail Fisher, led by conservative activist Ed Bloom. Back then, Abigail was suing the University of Texas of Austin for basically not letting her in because she was white, and some other minority group took her place. So, I mean, this has had a whole history of all types of issues where people have been like, affirmative action is pretty much racist. So, is it a quota system? Is it not a quota system? A lot of colleges feel like they're actually using it as holistic review and whatnot. If we actually go all the way back to 1970, there was actually a UC Davis case where Alan Bakke made racial quotas unconstitutional because at that point they were like, you need to get a specific number of XYZ minority group to actually go in and be a part of the university. Right now, why it's popular in the news, however, is because the Supreme Court this past Monday were ready to rule that affirmative action is actually unlawful at admission programs such as Harvard and the University of Carolina. So realistically, if this changes, it can be changing a lot in terms of how the future can go for college admissions. The idea of holistic review can change, and we'll see what the Supreme Court does actually do in the future. But I mean, what are your thoughts really on the topic of affirmative action, on all of this?
I think that if they were to get rid of it, it would reduce a lot of the variety that we have right now. I think that it's very important, and a lot of colleges are taking a step in the right direction with it lately. But if the Supreme Court were to rule this, it would be a big step back.
Yeah, it's almost like reverse discrimination, but then coming back and discriminating in other ways. There's always just some way, just something is messing up the system in all its sense. But I'm pretty sure there's something else messed up in entertainment. Can you tell me a bit about that?
There is. Well-known rapper, entrepreneur, and businessman Kanye West, who now goes by Ye, has recently shifted his influencer spotlight to a not-so-bright face for the public. West has made numerous anti-Semitic remarks towards the Jewish community, such as, quote, referring to a military term going DEFCON 3 that have many American Jews feeling very fearful for violence against them and their loved ones. Large corporations such as Balenciaga, Adidas, and Gap have cut ties with their longtime affiliate, ending Kanye's lengthy tenure on the Forbes billionaire list. Upon losing his partnerships, he was reported showing up uninvited and unannounced to a Skechers office, where he was quickly escorted out and asked not to return. He has been uninvited from big events and looked down upon by previous fans and supporters. So Kevin, what do you think we can expect the future to look like for Kanye since he's losing a lot of support and fan base?
The future, I mean, he's just been in the news for almost every single thing. Really, I mean, the whole Kim Kardashian drama, Pete Davidson. Yikes. I feel like in a sense that he likes the bad publicity, and I feel like this is not going to be the last time we're going to hear from him, but how to lose your money 101, just ask him, my goodness.
Yeah.
And it's unprofessional. It's just pretty ugly to see from like an outside perspective on like what he's doing to his own like reputation and whatnot.
I think we're going to hear a lot more from this because he hasn't put out any apologies or really done anything about what he's been saying. I don't think he feels very bad about it, so I think we will hear a lot more about this in the news lately.
And I do like kind of worry for him because at the center, like a lot of times, like some people like need the mental support and like who knows what he can be going through. I feel like there needs to be something checked out and whatnot.
He did say he's struggling with bipolar disorder, but many people don't agree that that would be a good excuse.
His Twitter, I think, is a good example of maybe something bipolar going on. But, you know.
Not sure. Well, while the future for Kanye has been put at a definite standstill, it must be recognized that Americans will not tolerate attacks on any group of individuals.
Yeah, you can definitely say that for sure. Like, nobody deserves to be put in that light one bit.
I agree.
Now, on a little bit of lighter news, at UT, researchers have actually developed a new type of electrode. It's very, very impressive. Basically, these electrodes would improve electric vehicles by charging them, making them charge faster and longer. The study was led by Zijun Zhu and Gujin Yu, and the main objective was them to fix the major two drawbacks that electric cars have. Basically, the long charging time and basically also the short battery life. And to achieve that, they developed that thicker electrodes. And okay, I'm not a scientist, I can't really be telling you exactly how these things work, but by the logic of it, like the thicker it is, the more energy you're supposed to actually hold in it and whatnot. And really, this is actually like an amazing step for electric cars, so that they can be actually more competitive with the gasoline cars. I mean, if anything, the biggest turnoff for a lot of people who are looking to buy cars and they choose not to buy electric cars is because of the issue of how long it charges or how long it can actually last, or like the miles and the range. And with this being a big change and the right step in the future, we can actually see a big growth for electric cars as well. And we all know that the U.S. is really, really pushing for the future to be completely electric. I mean, we had President Biden like not too long ago, like say like by 2030, we want at least, I think it was about 60% of America wanting to be completely electric. California had its own big mission as well. I mean, with those gas prices, I mean, I would think they would want that as well. But with this new technology coming into play, like, what do you think like the electric car world has in stake?
I think this is a major step, and it's amazing that it was two UT students who were able to create this. I think also a big issue is there aren't enough charging places for people, and also how much those new electrodes in the batteries with that would cost if the average American would be able to actually afford that. I think that would need to be taken into account.
And it's interesting you point that out because at the same time, like not too long ago in Austin, there was actually this company, it's called UFO Drive, where they basically have all their rental cars completely electric. So like the push for electric cars is more than ever, like now for now. And like technologies like these, like honestly, like I think my next car might be electric. Kind of sad though, I kind of like manual.
Or even hybrid.
That's
Start
true.
with that.
Also hybrid as well. But,
Yeah.
You know.
All right, well, let's take a look at the weather. Joining us on set is Logan Duble. What's the weather looking like, Logan?
Good morning, guys. It's still nice and warm outside, but we're finally getting a taste of fall as we kick off November. Today, you can expect mostly cloudy skies with temperatures reaching 78, but we're going to remain mild with an overnight low of 67. Tomorrow, we'll have windier conditions and slight chances for showers increasing throughout the day. We'll stay warmer at 81 on Friday with chances for thunderstorms being pretty high. Friday night temperatures will drop, though, to a chilly 53, and chances for showers with the rain clearing overnight. Saturday, we will remain sunny with a high of 74, and then we'll stay with the sun at 78 on Sunday. Then we'll have temperatures back in the low 80s with some chances for some precipitation returning once again early next week. However, a little rain is what we need sometimes here in Austin as we face severe and extreme drought in the city and across Texas. Enjoy the 80s, though, while they last, because we will soon be dropping into the 70s and the 60s for good as we head into the Thanksgiving season. That's the latest from the Weather Center. I'm Logan Duble.
Thanks. Stay tuned for more Good Morning Longhorns after the break.
Welcome back to Good Morning Longhorns. This past weekend was Halloween weekend, and in Austin, without a doubt, is one of the best places to celebrate it. Now let's take a look into how our staff and reporters at TSTV News did to celebrate Halloween weekend. Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Baskar.
And I'm Sophia Kurtz.
This past weekend was Halloween weekend. Let's go check out what the news department did for Halloween weekend.
For Halloween weekend, I went home and visited my family, and my sister and I did some Halloween baking. Ever since my new neighbors moved here, they've always thrown some really cool Halloween parties. So I went to that. It was a lot of fun as always. I dressed up as Batgirl. When I got back home on Sunday, I chilled out in my dorm and I watched Hocus Pocus 2. I wish I could say that the candy on the computer screen was all that I ate, but you guys know I had way more than that.
This year for Halloween, I hung out with some friends and we watched the Astros game and decorated some Halloween cookies.
Hi everyone, I'm Izzy Rosen, and this year for Halloween I dressed up as Rooster from Top Gun, and it just felt fitting because Top Gun is one of my favorite movies, and I just wanted to dress up as one of the characters. So this year, Halloween for me was super relaxed. Me and my friends watched a bunch of Halloween movies, so from Hocus Pocus to Return from Halloween Town, which I haven't seen in so long, so that was really fun, and we just ate a bunch of candy and hung out. So yeah, I hope everyone had a really good and safe Halloween.
So this year for Halloween, I went to a Halloween party hosted by one of my orgs. I didn't have a costume in mind, so I came with it that day. I went and got like a black trench coat and a really cheap eye patch, and I went as Nick Fury, and we had a pretty good time.
Hey guys, it's Paulina, the associate producer with Good Morning Texas, and for this Halloween weekend, I dressed up as two different things. The first one was for a date event in my sorority, and I was Scooby-Doo, and the second costume that I did was Blue the dog from Blue's Clues. So this is me being Scooby-Doo. I tried my best, and then this is me being Blue. It was so much fun. I loved just like the nostalgic characters, and yeah, I hope y'all had a great Halloween.
The biggest thing I did this weekend was just hanging out with my friends. Last week was a very busy week for me, a lot of tests and projects due, so it was just a really nice time to get together with some of my good friends and just have time to unwind. And of course we took lots of pictures, had lots of candy, and got creative with some of our costumes. Here are some pictures of the costumes.
It was a busy Halloween weekend for me, celebrating with friends around Austin and in West Campus. Thursday, I dressed up as a classic vampire, but on Friday night, spiced things up by channeling music icon Gene Simmons of the rock band Kiss. That makeup, it took quite some time, and it didn't stay on forever, but it did the trick. All in all, a great first Longhorn Halloween.
Well, it definitely seems like our TSC members had a lot of fun this past Halloween weekend. What did you do, Sophia?
Great question, Kevin. I dressed up as Cupid, just got a little costume off of Halloween.com, and then my roommate and I just went to a few Halloween parties in the neighborhood. What did you do?
Yeah, I was a sailor. 3 buddies of mine decided to all match. We got a scarf, some glasses, and a sailor hat, and just, as you said, went to some parties as well. But until next time, I'm Kevin Baskar, and we'll see you on the next package. Now, did your first weekend or Halloween weekend in Austin live up to your expectations?
Yeah, it was definitely busy. There was stuff every night, from Thursday all the way to Monday.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think about Halloween starts on a Thursday, or the whole Halloween festivities. I think back in 2018, Halloween was on a Wednesday, so people were like partying like the week before and the week after, so Halloween for an entire week, like my goodness.
I definitely didn't think it would be that long with that many things going on, but yeah.
And come to Austin for Halloween, those of you at home.
Well, this past weekend, Iranian Austinites organized protests regarding the death of Mahsa Amini. TNP reporter Joseph Sweeney attended the rallies at the Texas State Capitol and Speedway. Let's take a look.
International protests erupted after Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old Iranian woman, died in state custody in mid-September. Recently, Iranian Americans gathered at the state capitol and UT Speedway, demanding action by the American government.
To the Islamic regime, I say, the day you made us leave our homeland, you would have never expected in your darkest nightmares that we would march at every corner of the globe in every city that we live.
Ariana Rastami, a UT senior who led both events, lived in Iran for the first 16 years of her life, where she saw how their political system treats women firsthand.
I don't represent all the Iranian women. My story might be different from someone else's, but that doesn't change the fact that the current regime is systematically oppressive towards women.
According to Rastami, headscarves are instituted in Iran as early as age 7, where they are required to attend public schools.
There's a morality police who will arrest you for wearing a hijab a certain way, for walking with a male that is not your family member. For the most basic things, you will be arrested, you will be questioned, and your family will be contacted.
Organizers said they hope the United States will rethink current relations with Iran, such as the nuclear deal, which re-entered negotiations last year.
The United States has supported many revolutions in the past. Guess what? One of them was in 1979 in our country.
For Texas News Primetime, this is Joseph Sweeney.
So did you go to the protest?
Yeah, I didn't go. Had a lot of different things going on, but like it was a very, very interesting organization of how they organized the things. Like actually, when I was coming out of PCL, the library here at UT, they were actually like the exact moment she was actually like speaking and like protesting that aspect. I wasn't able to go there and see it for myself, but like you can tell that they were very passionate about their cause and they really wanted to advocate on the message they were trying to spread and all that kind of stuff. So. Yeah. But anyways, we will have more Good Morning Longhorns after the break. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Good Morning Longhorns, and for today we're going to be having a little fun game quiz show, and we're going to have Ella and Logan here answer some questions on the Day of the Dead that happened yesterday. So are you guys ready to have a little bit of competition?
As ready as I can be at 7 a.m.
Well, all right, first question, what does Dia de los Muertos celebrate? I completely butchered that, but...
Their loved ones that have passed away.
What about you, Logan?
They're honoring the spirit of those who passed away.
All right, well, the answer is Mexican Independence, Halloween, honoring deceased relatives and enjoying life. So I give you both a point on that.
Maybe a half point.
Yeah, I think
half a point. Yeah, you guys are actually like, you know, like being hard on yourselves. I like it. All Question 2. When is the Day of the Dead celebrated?
I want to say November 1st or November
I thought
2nd.
It was like October 31st through the 2nd.
Well, I'm going to give you the full point on this, half of the point on this, because November 1st is actually part of the timeline, but it's not the entire timeline. So you did, Ella gets the point here. You are winning 2.5, and you are winning 2. So
A point's a point.
a point's a point. All right. I apologize if I do butcher this, but what is pan de muerto?
Some sort of bread.
That would be my guess.
Bread. Well, you guys are right. It is some kind of bread, but like bread is a pretty vague answer. I mean,
Like, it's definitely meant for this day only. This holiday.
I would figure it is. All right. Well, I'll give both of you guys half of a point on that. All right. How about this? Our next question will be, what is an ofrendon?
That's offering in Spanish.
So
an offering.
an offering?
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
You're just like going to take every single answer choice that you
Pretty
say. All right. Well, I'm going to give you the full credit on that one. But let's try for one more question. Let's see. What is, I would say, the traditional version of an ofrendon?
I know that they put out certain flowers and like the favorite foods of their loved ones for their spirits.
Any ideas?
I'll forfeit at this point.
Forfeit? Okay, well, I mean, you are somewhat right, but like, really, it's actually like the sweetness of death, like, you know. Well, no, actually, it's to introduce like children to the concept of death with like no fear and all that kinds of stuff. So, yeah, but that's all the time we have for this game show. Ella, I think you were the clear winner over here, Logan. Maybe next time, but don't go anywhere, folks. For Good Morning Longhorns, we'll be talking about voting, a very important topic, when we come back. Welcome back to Good Morning Longhorns.
With more than 17.6 million people registered to vote in Texas during this midterm election, it's important that everyone gets out to the polls to vote.
So as we are near the end of early voting for midterm elections and towards the November 8th election day, we want to make sure everybody is well equipped with the knowledge about when what they will be voting. Now, Ella, have you actually gone and voted yet?
I did a mail-in ballot, so
Yeah,
sort of.
Sort of, yeah.
What about you?
I mean, that's my job this weekend, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, anyways, polling locations are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. with early voting running until November 4th.
Early voting is great because you can beat the election day crowd and have more flexibility to cast your ballot when you find the time during early voting.
The Flan Academic Center and the LBJ School of Public Affairs are both locations of which you can vote on here at campus. Not the PCL. The PCL actually changed recently, so just to make that clear.
Yeah. To vote, you will need to bring a valid form of identification and even bring your voting plan written out on paper. However, use of electronic devices at the polls is not permitted.
Amongst the top elections on the ballot for this cycle are the race for the Texas governor, with incumbent Greg Abbott in the race against Beto O'Rourke.
Lieutenant Governor incumbent Dan Patrick against Mike Collier.
And the race for Attorney General Ken Paxton up against Rochelle Mercedes Garcia.
The election for Austin City Mayor is also taking place with 6 candidates in the race. Amongst these six, Texas House Representative Celia Israel and former state Senator Phil Campera Brule may be familiar names to voters. However, the other candidates are worth looking into as well, as the focus on the issues of high costs in living and education.
Some propositions in Austin voters will find on the ballot regard, like affordable housing and infrastructure.
Remember to tune in Tuesday, November 7th to Texas News Primetime to get our coverage on the election.
For more information regarding voting, and some great organizations here on campus have decided to promote civic engagement, to hook the vote, and to Texas votes. But anyways, I'm excited for that special that's coming up next week. You guys should tune in for that 2-hour special on Texas News Primetime. For more Good Morning Longhorns throughout the week, you can follow us here on Instagram at Good Morning Longhorns. I'm Kevin Baskar.
From all of us here at Good Morning Longhorns, thank you for joining us and have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll see you all next week.